What if I told you that the future of America's most iconic truck is no longer fueled by gasoline, no longer roaring with pistons, and no longer tied to the traditions that defined it for decades? Imagine a Silverado that doesn't need oil changes, that can outrun fuel costs, and that might just be the truck that redefines what work and power mean in the electric age. This isn't science fiction. It's the 2025 Chevrolet Silverado EV LT extended range, and it's already creating shockwaves across the industry. But the question is simple. Does this truck live up to the legacy of the Silverado, or is it just another electric gamble? At first sight, the Silverado EV LT extended range looks like a familiar beast. Chevy hasn't abandoned the muscular stance that truck buyers love, but instead of a massive grille, the front is aerodynamic and futuristic. It feels bold, yet practical. Not flashy like a concept car, but clearly a machine built for the real world. Unlike the high-end RST trim that screams luxury, the LT version is stripped down for workers, fleet buyers, and practical owners who want range and capability without the unnecessary extras. Performance is where the Silverado EV LT extended range forces its critics to sit up. Powered by GM's Ultium battery platform, it delivers up to 450 miles of range on a single charge. That's not just impressive, it's industry-shattering for an electric truck. This kind of range instantly puts Ford's F-150 Lightning and even Rivian's R1T in the back seat. Chevy promises instant torque, smooth acceleration, and a driving feel that's both powerful and refined. Even in its rear-wheel drive LT configuration, the truck feels alive the moment you tap the pedal. And here's the kicker. With DC fast charging, you can add 100 miles of range in just 10 minutes, which means long trips no longer feel like a compromise. Capability, however, is the ultimate test of any truck. And here the Silverado EV LT extended range doesn't try to play the role of a fragile electric experiment. It can tow up to 10,000 pounds and carry a payload of about 1,400 pounds. For contractors, adventurers, or even families with boats and trailers, this is more than just an eco-friendly commuter. It's a serious workhorse. This is where Chevy makes its boldest statement. This truck is not a Tesla Cybertruck that looks out of place on a construction site. It's not a toy. It's a Silverado, and it earns that badge with numbers that matter. Step inside, and the story continues. The LT trim is not about luxury leather or flashy accents, but about space, practicality, and modern technology. You're greeted by a massive 17-inch infotainment display alongside a fully digital driver cluster. Connectivity is seamless, with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, built-in Google services, and over-the-air updates. The cabin is whisper quiet, a natural advantage of electric architecture, and filled with clever storage solutions that remind you Chevy designed this with everyday use in mind. And then there's the midgate, a feature that instantly separates this truck from its rivals. By folding down the rear seats and opening the midgate, you extend the bed length into the cab, creating more than 10 feet of usable space. That's a level of versatility Ford, Rivian, and Tesla simply don't offer. Of course, everything comes at a cost. And for the Silverado EV LT extended range, that cost begins at around $74,800. For many buyers, that price will sting, especially when the base F-150 Lightning Pro is significantly cheaper. But what you're buying here isn't just another electric vehicle. You're buying nearly 450 miles of range, serious towing numbers, and features that actually push the EV truck market forward. Factor in government tax credits, fuel savings, and lower maintenance, and suddenly the math doesn't look quite so painful. Add Chevy's growing Ultium charging partnerships across the country, and the Silverado feels like it was built not just for today, but for the charging infrastructure of tomorrow. Now the real question, how does it stack up against the competition? Against Ford's Lightning, the Silverado wins hands down on range. Against Rivian's R1T, it wins on practical usability. And against the Tesla Cybertruck, the Silverado looks less like a science project and more like a dependable truck you can actually live with. That's the subtle genius here. Chevy didn't reinvent what a truck is supposed to be. Instead, it took the formula of the Silverado, a name trusted for decades, and electrified it without stripping away its soul. But is it perfect? Not even close. The price will keep it out of reach for many. The weight of such a massive battery pack makes efficiency in real-world towing scenarios questionable. And Chevy's promise of wide availability will be tested by production bottlenecks. Yet for those who can afford it, and who demand the longest range in the EV truck world, the Silverado EV LT extended range may be the most convincing option yet. So here's the verdict. The 2025 Chevrolet Silverado EV LT extended range is not a flashy toy, not a futuristic gamble, and not an empty marketing stunt. It's a truck that delivers range, capability, and practicality in a package that feels both familiar and revolutionary. It's expensive, yes, but if you're looking for an electric truck that works as hard as it advertises, this Silverado might just be the moment where the future of trucks stops being a dream and starts being reality.